Hello lovers, how you're doing today? It's a beautiful day out here and I trust you're having a beautiful day as well. I hope you have all been staying safe. You're welcome to this episode of Finding Love, where I bring you useful insights that will guide you on your journey to finding love. Now the name Finding Love. Growing up at some stage in my life, finding love became my major focus and it exposed me to lots of books, experiences, going on dates, relationships, that shaped my journey. And I am so delighted to use this as a platform to educate you, to inform you, and to see how we can grow together. Okay? On the previous episodes of Finding Love, we talked about the importance of courtship before marriage and rounded up last week. So this week, we'll be starting a new series called Everything You Need to Know About Going on Dates. And trust me, I'll be sharing a lot of personal stories. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe so that you'll be the first to get notified whenever I post a video. I'll be right back. Okay, so going on dates are in different categories. It could be you as a single lady or a single guy taking yourself out. That's solo dates just by yourself. It could also be a couple, a married woman and a married man taking themselves out, to spice up their marriage or to revamp their marriage. But for today, I will be focusing on the category that has to do with a single girl and a single guy taking themselves out on a date. That's acquaintances. So my definition of going on dates. Going on dates is when a single man or a single woman asks the other out, or asks a man or a woman out to go out on a date, to create an opportunity to have a one-on-one meeting in order to know each other, to see if they connect or if they can extend dates for another day. Okay, so going on dates really has to do with asking a male or a female out or an acquaintance out, for an opportunity to get to know each other, to sit down and talk, or go to the movies or whatever, but having the opportunity to be together just by yourself, a woman and a man together. Okay, so that is the category we're focusing on today. Now, I have chosen a subtitle for today's episode, which is called Planning. So in terms of planning, I've divided into 3 parts. Number 1, giving your approval. Number 2, the location. And number 3, making efforts. So let me talk about giving your approval. Okay, so you have just met this lady or this guy and you like them. Or maybe someone is hooking you up, a friend of a friend you haven't met, or maybe you guys have met online and you want to, have an actual date. Now the first thing to do is ask for God's, what's the word now? Involve God. Ask for his guidance or his thought on the matter. It's very, very important. Something as trivial as going on a date or seeing somebody a second time, or fixing a date with somebody. It will be in your best interest to involve God. Now I'll back it up with a scripture. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6. I read it from here. It says, trust in love with all your heart and lean not on your understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Okay. Yes, going on dates is a simple matter, but it's in your best interest really to involve God. Okay. The first prayer point is to ask him for his thoughts on the matter. Because things are not always as they seem. God would communicate to you things that would save you from unforeseen dangers. I'll still share my personal story, but let me just say this. There are times when you meet somebody and everything just seems right. You guys fix a date and then it comes, then the day of the date comes and you're just reluctant for some reason, you don't know why. If you end up going for that date, sometimes you end up realizing why you were reluctant in the first place. But unfortunately, some people do not live to tell the story, because some kind of misfortune happens along the way. I'm sure you've heard stories about people that say, oh, I'm going on this date and they never returned. Okay, so it's in your best interest to involve God. Just ask him. It's not a big deal. What's your thought on this matter? I met this person. God is your friend. That's how you should interact with him. I met this person because he is the one that initiated marriage in the first place. So it's in your best interest, really. I'm emphasizing on best interest because in fact, let me even share my story. I met some guy in 2010 and okay, we kept chatting and chatting and chatting. We will plan to see each other, we won't get to see. This carried on for about 3 years. So 2013, I think we even lost contact for a while and then met again. And like, oh, let's see now, he was disturbing me. Let's, I really like you. Let's go on a date. Let me take you out. I'm like, okay, no problem. So 2013, he said, okay, let's fix a particular date. And I was writing my exams that period, okay? But I just felt this whole thing has prolonged for too long. Let me just agree. From my exams, I'll just drive down to wherever we're having the date, and that'll be, I'll come back home and read for my next paper. Okay, so the morning of the date, after praying for my exam paper I was going to write that day, I just prayed randomly that, oh God, I commit this, whatever, these dates I'm going on with this guy into your hands. I asked for your thought on the matter, and I just left it there. I wrote my exam. So on my way, now my school was at Ojota, or it still is at Ojota, but I'm done. At Ojota, so, and we fixed a date for 6 p.m. I think my paper finished at 5 p.m. I'm not sure. So I called him, oh, okay, I'm on my way. We said, okay, yeah, let's meet around the same day. So on my way, I got to Ojota. Normally there's this pothole at Ojota. I passed there easily and nothing happens to my car, okay? But for some reason that day, I entered the pothole and the thing flattened 2 of my tires. So right there on the Ojota bridge, I couldn't move. So 2 of these, guys on the street came to help me, took out the tire, went to pump it and came back. The process took long. So I texted this guy saying, sorry, my tires just got flat on Ojota, that I'll soon be done and I'll be on my way. So after texting him, I don't even remember if he replied or what I did. I don't remember. But I noticed that a few minutes later, I started to have a headache. My head was pounding seriously. So I was like, but I'll still go for this date because I made this guy, come out of his house, So they fixed my tire. On my way back home, I was having serious headache. And the fixing of the tire took so long. Normally, just to pump tire and bring it back, but I was there till past 7. I was not even worried about, my security at this time. I was worried about, finishing up and, meeting up with the date. But then there was this headache. I just couldn't understand it. I eventually drove all the way. My mind just told me, you know what, just go home. Text this guy that you can't make it. You're having a headache. You've had a very stressful day. I wasn't the one fixing the tire, but I felt drained for some reason. So when I got home, I texted him saying, oh, sorry, I can't make this date. I think I even got home by past 8 and I had exams the next day. I said I'm having serious headache and I need to read for my exams. Please do not be offended. I don't know if he replied me. I don't even remember his own story, if he replied or not. But I know that I made sure to keep communicating, because it would have been very rude of me to just keep him waiting at the date venue and then, cancel on him eventually, even though my reasons were legit. Okay, so that passed. So the next day was my midweek service. From school, I went for my midweek service. My pastor was preaching and he said, some of you, God loves you so much, you fix a date with somebody and God is trying to stop you from going, but you still want to insist on going. What he will do is he will send an angel to burst your tire so that you will not go, to prevent you from danger. When I heard it, I was like, hello, pastor. In my mind, was it there? It just showed me that God did not want me to go for this date. Whatever it was that kept me from going from 2010 till 2013, 3 years, it was God stopping me. And even when I insisted that, okay, so this guy has been on my case, let me just see him, God still made sure to prevent it by, my having that little issue at Ojota Bridge. Okay, only God knows what would have happened. Only God knows what. I don't know what kind of person this guy is, but only God knows what would have happened. And he used his angel to stop me from going. Hearing my pastor say that, it was so apt, almost like my pastor knew about the issue, but no, it was word of wisdom, word of knowledge that God used to communicate to me through him why I shouldn't have gone on that, just because I asked him for his thought on that matter. Now, so this now brings me to my second point on, what to pray about. Pray to God to show you the kind of spirit in that person. Yes, going on dates is so trivial. Maybe I just met this person, I like the person. But sometimes you should not even find yourself in an environment with somebody with the wrong spirit, okay, in the name of going on dates. Now, why am I saying this? I'll give another personal story. I met somebody, a guy, was asking me out. We had met once, okay, and then said, "Oh, I like you. I would like us to date." I said, "Let me pray about it. I'll get back to you." So he chatted me up and said, "Oh, you know what? Even if you're not already with my answer, at least I like your company. Let's just see. Let's hang out again." So I said, "Okay, no problem." I mean, I even thought my mind to give me an opportunity to get to know him more and see if he's someone I can actually date. So that day, that morning, just my regular me and my friendship with God, I just prayed, "God, I commit my day into your hands. I commit this person that wants to see me. I ask for your thoughts. I ask that you show me the kind of spirit in this person." And this guy did not contact me again that day. No BBM message, no nothing. I didn't hear from him again. And I slept that night. And I had an interesting dream. In fact, this one was a nightmare. I saw this guy in my dream. He had his hands behind him, like you're holding a flower. But he wasn't holding a flower. He had this smile on his face, like whether it was sarcasm or like a tricky smile on his face. So as I moved closer, he brought out whatever was behind him, and it was a sharp knife, and he was going to stab me. So I ran. I was running. It was an uncompleted building, and I was running. At some point, I couldn't run anymore, so I just stood and faced him, and I woke up from sleep. I was like, "What kind of dream is this?" Remember, the guy did not contact me. We didn't see again. Then the next morning, guess who contacts me? The guy sends me a picture of himself on a sick bed in the hospital saying, "Oh, this was why I couldn't see you. I was rushed into the hospital. I'm currently receiving drip." But that wasn't the only thing. What I observed was the same cloth he was wearing in the dream was what he was wearing in the picture he sent to me. And I knew that it wasn't just an ordinary dream. It wasn't just an ordinary nightmare. It was God showing me that the heart of this person is not right towards you. And guess what? From there, I just disconnected from him completely. So it's always a good thing to involve God, even in the smallest issue. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, okay? Of course, trust him and he will direct your path, okay? Location. Now, I bought a book, I think in 2010 or so. I read it and it really taught me a lot. I don't remember the name because I lent a friend and she never returned it. And it's been a while, but I learned a lot. And one of the things I learned was this. When it comes to selecting a location for a date, as a lady, let the guy make the suggestion. Even if he insists that, "Oh, I want you to choose a place," hear him out. Let him suggest. And that is because, number one reason is this. It would help you to pick his mind, to know exactly where he places you. If he has respect for you, if he sees you beyond sex, or if he wants more from you just beyond what he can see on the physical. And some people might argue and say, "Oh no, it's not true, it's not this and that," but trust me, it is true. I'm telling you as a lady. Now, for example, if a guy, you're just meeting him for the first time and your first date is suggesting that you should come to his house, his friend's house, or a hotel room, trust me, that's a no. That's already a red flag. Okay, any guy that takes you seriously, that respects you, that sees you beyond sex, would not suggest you coming to his house or a friend's house or a hotel room for a first date. They would want to show you some more respect. For a first date, an open space, a place where you guys can have a very relaxed conversation with the right energy is ideal. Okay, so suggesting to come to his house or hotel room or whatever, an enclosed place like his friend's house, puts you at risk. Your security should be number one. That should be the number one thing on your mind, because when you go to his house, if he rapes you or he forces you to sleep with him, you'll be blamed. They'll say, "Why did you go to his house?" Okay, now don't tell me that, "Oh, it might not be his intention," and all that stuff, but you don't want to create that environment where something like that can happen to you. Okay, so that's why I always like to hear them first. I don't want to waste my time with any guy that is not serious or that doesn't take me seriously. I can't be talking to you about a first date and you're telling me to come to your house or to your friend's house or meet you in a hotel room. I mean, that's for me, it just shows outright disrespect for me. In the past, when I have conversations like that with a guy, maybe we just want to meet for the first time, and he's saying, come to my house, I just wiggle my way out of that conversation and out of that space, because I know that there's not this place, we're not going anywhere. This guy doesn't have respect for me. Okay, so a lot of the times, okay, let him suggest. Like I always say, things are not always as they seem. You see someone that is well put together and look responsible. You might even meet them in the church, but they might not have the best of intention. Everybody goes to church, even sick people. Okay, so you can't say because you met a guy in a church, then his mind is right. He might want something else that he's seeing on the outside. It might not just be who you are on the inside that he's interested in. Okay, so that's why you should give the guy the opportunity to suggest. If he insists that you do the suggestion, just hear him out. Hear the kind of locations he's calling. And then, you hearing him out doesn't stop you from saying no to the location or for making the final decision. It's just you wanting to pick his mind, just to know where he places you. Another reason to let the guy make the suggestions for the location for a first date is because you want to play it safe and by all means be considerate. Now, you have just met this guy, you do not know his financial capability, okay? And like I said before, you want to be considerate, okay? So you don't know his budget, you don't know his plans for the first date. So when he asks you, oh, where do you want to go? Ask him back, okay, where would you suggest we go? At least from areas or whatever from the locations he chooses, you would know, okay, this is what this guy, this is his plan, or this is what he can afford, or whatever. Sometimes it might not be the case. Sometimes they just suggest areas or suggest locations irrespective of what they have. But I would always say it's just wise to let him suggest the location. Now, if he then insists and says, oh no, you suggest, it's also safe to be moderate, to just be moderate, just suggest a moderately priced place, restaurant or whatever you might choose, but make sure it's moderately priced, okay? Because like I said before, you do not know what he can afford, you don't know his budget, you don't know his plans financially, okay? So just make sure it's as moderate as possible. But for me, in order to avoid the confusion of or the uncertainties of, oh, I don't know his plans, I don't know what he can afford, I don't know if this is moderate enough, because the word moderate is relative. So for some people, your moderate might be the expensive, for some it might be the cheap. Okay, so to avoid all those uncertainties, I just make sure he suggests the location. Okay, and guess what, it might just be a win-win. My moderate might be his cheap, and it might give me a better experience than what I was expecting, or what I was spending, what I could have suggested. Okay, so that's my own definition of playing it safe, letting wisdom guide you. So that is one reason, or that's another reason to let the guy suggest the location. Okay, so we've been talking about the planning aspect of going on dates. Okay, now because of time, there's so much to say, but because of time, I will just stop here. We'll pick up from here next week. So see you next week. You're welcome back, guys. We're still